Well, hello, it's Miss Fettercheck. I'm super excited. Me and Miss Trap are going to start doing some videos and lessons for you guys on Mondays, just like we were in group together. We miss you guys so much, and we thought this might be a way that we can connect with you and you can connect with us. Along with each of these videos is going to be a Google form. And in the form will be some questions about the video or some reflections. And also it will be a chance for you to let me and Miss Trap know if you need anything from us, if you would like us to give you a call or an email. So make sure you're catching the videos and then you're filling out that Google form so we know how you're doing and if there's any way that we can help you. So just like if we were in group together, we're going to start with a little mindfulness to get us centered. I hope you've been using your mindfulness as you've been at home. I know the stress of being kind of cooped up and with the same people all the time who I love, but sometimes they get frustrated with me and I get frustrated with them. And so using mindfulness can really help me kind of be more in wise mind, especially when I notice that I'm in emotional mind. So this morning we're just gonna listen to sound, guys. Super easy. So we want to get in that kind of mindfulness position with our feet on the floor. You can put your hands on your lap, or you might have to scoot to the edge of your bed if you're still laying in bed doing your work. And we're just gonna take a deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath in and exhale. And I just want you to be still for a minute and just notice the sounds around you. Remember, if your mind starts to wander, no worries. Don't judge it. Just bring your mind back to what we're doing, which is just noticing the sounds. So just be still and notice the sounds around you. All right, take another deep breath in and exhale. All right. What? Did you notice any sounds? I noticed I have a really loud clock in my kitchen. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. I could hear my daughter watching something on her phone, and I could hear birds chirping outside. What kinds of things did you hear this morning? Did you hear anything? Yeah, so thanks for doing that with me. And guys, today we're just going to review what we had talked about a couple weeks ago, which is those tip skills. Remember, we have talked about when our emotions get in that red zone. Remember when we made the big thermometer and me and Miss Trap had you guys put the Post-its like when you were above a 65 or higher on that distress scale. And we talked about that it's helpful to use those crisis survival skills that we've learned, like accepts, which in the form below, I want you to write what accept stands for in something that you've done or that you found that's useful in accepts. And we also talked about self-soothe. Remember using those five senses and finding a way to kind of soothe ourselves using our senses. But guys, there's times when our emotions are so intense that our ability to use those distracting skills are so, they break down. It's really, really hard. We can't think about what to do because our emotions are so extreme. Remember we said we call that the fight or flight mode when we're just too aroused to practice those skills. That might happen if you needed to pass an exam to pass a class and you failed it and you weren't going to pass. I mean, can be super strong emotions. It could be when you found out a boyfriend or girlfriend was cheating on you. That elicits really strong emotions. Anything that gets you really amped up, and get you really intense. Sometimes those crisis survival skills like accepts and self-soothe they're not working. Or that you can't even focus enough to use the skills. And so those are the times we talked about tip. Remember, we took the ice and we put it on our neck. You guys held it. That is changing your temperature. That's changing your body chemistry really fast. And so we did that. So that's one of them. Temperature. And remember, we talked about you could do that with ice. You could do that with splashing water on your face. You could do that with, if you're at home, taking a shower. But remember, the effects of tip skills only usually last between 5 and 20 minutes. They are not a long-term solution or a long-term answer. They'll just buy you enough time to get into a calm state so you don't do or say something that you're going to wish maybe you hadn't later. So we can do this to get into kind of a calmer state to mindfully determine what additional skills you might need, like talking to somebody, now trying to use an accept skill or an improve skill. And extreme emotions can be changed quickly by changing our body chemistry. So we're going to learn and practice those tip skills. We've already talked about temperature. And today we're going to talk about, if we have time, one more, or we may just review today. Listen, we talked, and hopefully you remember, because I think this is super cool, but just to review, we have this nervous system that will help us. But we want to, when we're using tip skills, we want to activate, there's two. We have the sympathetic nervous system, or we'll call that the SNS, the sympathetic nervous system, SNS. That's your body's fight or flight. We've talked a lot about that. And that's activated in moments of distress. If I'm leaving the movie theater and all of a sudden a car comes barreling at me, and I jump out of the way and my heart beats really fast and I get more saliva in my mouth and my blood pressure goes up, that is helpful. It keeps me safe. I did need to flee. But sometimes our SNS gets kind of confused, and let's say I'm walking out of the movie theater this time and my best friend, we're talking about the movie, and I tell her, oh man, I thought that movie was awesome. And she's like, oh, that movie was terrible. You're such an idiot for liking that. You're such a baby. You always like movies like that. And I start to have that fight or flight, that SNS gets activated. My heart starts beating faster and my blood pressure goes up. And then I want to yell at my friend and tell her what an idiot she is. But it's kind of confused about the fight or flight. And so that's when, if I can use these other skills, it will help calm me down to activate what we call our PNS, or our parasympathetic response, which is the opposite of that. This is your body's natural emotional regulation system. It's the opposite of fight or flight. It's that rest and slow down system. And when this system is activated, our heartbeat slows down, our blood pressure slows down, we don't produce as much saliva, our pupils actually constrict, they get smaller, and your digestion increases. So when we're using tip skills, what we're trying to do is activate that parasympathetic, or that PNS nervous system, so that our emotions can decrease quickly and allow for clear thinking about what skills we can use. So remember, we've talked about temperature. That's one. That's the T, temperature. And there's two more that we're going to talk about next week that are intense exercise. Intense, not just like walking in place. And the second one is paced breathing. So we're going to do paced breathing next time and talk about intense exercise. Today, I want you to notice what's going on and how you're feeling. Remember, if you are starting to become unregulated, your mind's starting to get an emotional mind, remember you can always use accepts or self-soothe. And now we also know temperature if you're above that 65 on that distress skill. Answer the questions below, and then join us next week when we talk about the I and the P of tip. I hope you guys are doing well. Me and Miss Trap really missed you guys, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Let us know how we can help you if you need something or you just want to talk to us. We love to hear from you guys. All right, everybody, have a great day. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.